great feel to that, great sound to that as well. Okay, welcome back to the channel, everybody. We've got an iron review video for you today, and it's new Callaway Apex TCB Iron. So this is just following on from the Apex range that has just launched, and this iron is the iron that Jon Rahm has in his bag, and a lot of feedback has come from the tour players in the design of this particular iron. It looks great, it looks a little bit different. We've got some technologies to talk about, so we're going to test it, we're going to hit it, and maybe see if this is a type of iron that's suited for you as an individual. Okay, so TCB, I'm presuming, I'm not actually any confirmation of this, but I'm presuming this stands for Tour Cavity Back. So it's an iron, as I say, the tour players have had a lot of influence in the shaping of the club, the look of the golf club as it sat down into that playing position, and obviously we still get a little bit of technology in regards to this sort of flash face. So we've still got that happening on the you know, the back side of the club face, the flash face technology that we've seen in the woods, and also introduction to the Apex irons now. We've got a very visual tungsten plate in that back section, which is then interchangeable depending on swing weights, but that's precisely positioning the CG location for ultimate consistency in this particular iron. Okay, so initial first looks down by the ball. It's a very squat head from that heel to the toe, very straight leading edge and very minimal offset. And Callaway saying this is less offset than the X-Forged CB iron that they sort of produce. So beautiful shaping down by the golf ball, very compact, quite a small looking head, medium slim top edge. And that feels absolutely nice. Feels really good. Wasn't the perfect of strikes, a little bit low heel. We can see on that strike location on the screen, a lot of positive feedback with the new layout of the screen from you guys, which has been nice, so we'll keep that going. So this type of iron for me is going to be really aimed at your sort of your tour players, your elite golfers who are really going to get a good consistent strike pattern in this club face. You know, it does look, when you look at the back of the iron, it looks like it's got loads of forgiveness. You know, typically when you start seeing like tungsten plates in there, you think, oh, this has got packed with a load of forgiveness, and it probably does give you a little bit of forgiveness, but at the end of the day, it is still a very sort of small looking club down by that golf ball. So definitely a better players or a player who has a consistent strike pattern would suit this sort of iron. So basically in the models now in the new Apex, obviously we've got a lot of introduction to a lot of models. You've got the MB, the muscle back, the straight out blade, then you're going to have this TCB iron, and then you're going into then the Pro iron, and then the standard Apex, and then the DCB. That's a better strike, that's a lovely flight, great feel to that, great sound to that as well. And it's a flight that doesn't look like it's really powerful, as you're going to expect. You know, this isn't a distance hitting golf club, it's 34 degrees of loft in this 7-iron, so it's more of that true loft. And again, the tour pros have had a big influence of the loftings, the shaping and the look and the sound and the feel of this iron. So it's made from 1025 carbon steel, which is forged. Oh, it's absolutely a joy to hit. Just catching a fraction in the heel there, actually. But they still feel amazing. That was quite a heel shot there. I can feel that. I got the feedback, but that flew really nice. So as I mentioned, we've got this tungsten plate on the back, but there's also some internal tungsten weighting in this head as well. Again, really trying to dial in that precise CG location. Yeah, that's a lovely high, towering flight. Looks like there's a lot of control on that ball flight. You know, you'd have confidence that coming into a green that you got some stopping power there. See spin just short that 6,000. Maybe you might expect to see a little bit more spin there with a loft around that sort of 34 degrees of loft. But to be honest, I'm typically a little bit of a low spin player in terms of my irons. Lovely, really consistent window that comes out of as well. So availability wise in these irons, we've got a 3-iron through to pitching wedge plus an A wedge, which is an approach wedge, or some of you may call like a gap wedge at 50 degrees. Available in both right and left hand also. Yeah, that's such a good sound to that and a feel. The feedback's there. Just slightly pull that up that left side, a little bit more ball speed with that. That one with that slight pull on spin just drops a tiny bit. Obviously that's more me than the club itself. Again, just a little bit of a pull up that left side. But again, feels fantastic. Really good feedback off that club face. We just know exactly where you're striking it around that club face. The sound is very, very good. It's just that right sound you would want to associate maybe with that forged iron, not clicky or anything like that. So the price point of these are exactly the same as the rest of the Apex family. So I was under the impression these were going to be a little bit more premium, a little bit more expensive, but they're not. They're actually the same price. And so for 7 irons, say 4 iron to pitching wedge is £1,000 over here. Obviously then depending on what shaft you go in, what grip, if there's any upcharges, then you'll have those on top. Okay, right, feels great, love the look of that. The shaping of it is really, really stunning. I think it's got some great bag appeal at the back of the club there as you sort of see it. I know that doesn't make much difference in terms of playing, but in that playing position looks fantastic. Squat head, very little offset, so if that's something that you really like the look of, definitely worth looking at this TCB iron. So I'm going to check a few numbers out and see exactly how that club is performing. Okay, so we'll have a look at some numbers there. So you see club head speed around that sort of 88 mile an hour mark, which is typical for me. Sort of 7 iron, somewhere between that and 90 is my typical sort of 7 iron speed. Ball speed 120.3, so as you appreciate, won't be the fastest ball speed because it's a 34-degree loft and it's not a sort of power iron in a way. So a typical ball speed I would expect with that type of lofting of the golf club. Launch angle sort of 90.5, C spin just short of 5,900. So possibly expect to see a little bit more in there, but as I say, I'm generally a little bit lower spin on my irons. And to be honest, I hit a lot of those strikes a bit on that heel side, to be honest. If you have a look at the strike, there you go. So that's the heat patch on all those strikes. So I've just all hit those a little bit in the heel, which is sort of a little bit of a miss of mine. I don't tend to get all of them in the heel, so it's a bit of a test on that particular iron, isn't it? Those sort of strikes. I mean, they still felt really, really good and still seem to perform, but they'll just drop that little bit of spin there with that strike. So you can see the carry there at 181, peak out at 104, descent angle 47, so loads of stopping power as that comes into land. Right, okay, so there's a new iron from Callaway, a beautiful looking golf club. Possibly not an iron that's going to be a real big seller purely because of the size of the head, really. You know, that's very much more limited to you probably sort of low single figure players, golf pros in a way. Just purely because of the maybe just that little bit of lack of forgiveness, and I've really tested that today with those sort of heel strikes, and it still felt good. It still performed pretty nicely there. So push comments down below. Let me know your thoughts. Possibility there, maybe comboing these with the MB iron because the lofts are the same. I think off the top of my head, so you could potentially combo those. You know, maybe these in those longer irons and then going into the MB in the short irons. That's also maybe an option for you to sort of consider. Okay, appreciate you watching the video as always. If you've enjoyed it and you haven't subscribed, appreciate if you just click that subscribe button, and hopefully we'll catch up with you all very soon.